Ever since Apple released iOS 18, people have been struggling to find their way around the new iPhone settings app. But that ends today. Stay tuned, I'll walk you through it. I'm Dylan Stewart, the MacWhisperer, and in today's video, we're going to demystify the iPhone settings app. I'm going to make sure you know exactly where to go to change any setting on your phone quickly. Make sure to stick around for my MacWhisperer power tip, where I make it simpler than ever to get to the right setting quickly and easily. So, goodbye iOS 17, hello iOS 18. One of the nice things about the way iOS 18 setting app was designed is that everything is very logical and collected into separate sections. Starting up at the top, we've got our Apple ID settings. Your Apple ID is the key that links all of your Apple devices together. The Apple ID is made up of an email address and a password. If you've lost your password or don't know it offhand, stay tuned because I'm going to give you a tip on resetting it simply and easily. Let's click on our name and take a quick look around. Inside of this section, we're going to find all sorts of important pieces, like the personal information that Apple knows about you and your sign-in and security settings. I'm going to click on Sign In and Security. Inside this area, you'll find all of the email addresses and phone numbers that are associated with your Apple account. Scrolling down here, you're going to see this setting, which is the single easiest way to reset your password. If you lose your password and try to reset it from a computer, it can be very complicated, but if you go to your phone and you come into this section, it will use Face ID to identify you and allow you to change your password easily and simply. There's a couple of other great tools down here as well, such as the recovery contacts. Assigning one of your friends or family members as a recovery contact means that if you ever get locked out of your Apple account, you can ask that person to let you back in. And down below, you've got something called legacy contact. For many of us, we've purchased all sorts of media, songs, movies, and applications over the years that we've had our iPhone. All of those are tied to your Apple ID, but with the legacy contact, you can designate someone who can inherit your Apple ID if you pass away. This is a great way to make sure that all of those movies and songs that you've purchased can continue to be enjoyed by your loved ones when you're gone. One of the other important places to keep an eye on is the subscription settings that we see right here. And for reference, the Media and Purchases section and the Subscription section shows some of the same information. Coming into the Subscription section, you can see how much you're getting charged for your Disney Plus renewal or when your Hulu account is about to renew. You can also tell when a subscription is about to expire by the writing in red underneath the name. If you scroll a little further down the list, you'll find the inactive section, which shows you all of your subscriptions that have already canceled. You can renew any subscription from here. And a power tip for all of you, if you click on any one of these subscriptions, you'll see a section right here that says See All Plans. This is a great way to find out if there's a better price for that subscription, and you can change your price right here. Right below that, we're going to see a list of all of the different devices that are connected to your Apple ID. This is a great place to check for devices that you're no longer using. Coming into any one of these devices here and clicking on it will give you the option to remove it from your account. That will eliminate your Apple ID settings on that device. If you've given away or replaced that device, this is a great way to make sure that your information is no longer connected to it. This list is super helpful to tell you what devices you've got connected to your Apple ID, but a lot of people make a very foolish mistake. They let their devices have a generic name. So if you're in this section and you find a bunch of devices that just say iPhone or iPad or computer without a more specific name, it can be very frustrating. You can change the name of any of your devices, but it has to be done from the device itself, not from this section. If you'll stay tuned for a few moments, I'll show you where to go to change the name. And the last thing we want to talk about inside of the Apple ID section is this area right here called iCloud. Coming into iCloud, you can see how much storage space you've got in your iCloud account by clicking up on the storage section right here. It'll not only show you how much storage you've got, but what devices or which people in your family are using the most of your storage. This is a great place to come in and do a quick audit and clean up some of the storage that you may not know is being used in iCloud. Down below that, you're going to see this section that says Save to iCloud. And this is by far the most important place on your phone to make sure your devices are synchronizing properly. Click where it says See All to show a list of all of the different iCloud apps. Here you can confirm that your most important applications are synchronizing properly through the cloud. I highly recommend turning on iCloud Photos, Messages in the Cloud, Notes, and Safari. But if you're a heavy Apple user, you can turn on every single one of these settings and make sure that all of the apps synchronize properly with all of your devices. Let's click our back arrow one more time here. Down below here, you'll see when your iPhone was last backed up and some other additional iCloud Plus features that you can play around with. Underneath our name, you may see your family settings. You can share your iCloud information, your data, and purchases with up to 5 other members of your family right in this section. Feel free to click right here and add anybody you like by clicking the plus button in the upper right-hand corner. Scrolling down a little further, you'll see which subscriptions you can share with your family members. You'll see whether you are sharing purchases with them and also whether you are sharing location with them. This is the easiest place for you to keep track of all of your family members without any headaches or challenges. And that's the Apple ID section. Next up, let's talk about the network and connectivity section. This is the section that houses airplane mode, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, cellular, and personal hotspot. In addition to that, we've got another section called battery. We're going to talk a little bit about each of them. But before we do, let me tell you why I don't use this section very often. It's because by using the control panel, which you can get access to by pulling down from the upper right corner of your screen, like this, you can have immediate access to all of those same network settings. You'll see in this quadrant right here, there's airplane mode and Wi-Fi, there's cellular, there's Bluetooth, there's even AirDrop. By pressing and holding in the center of this quadrant like this, the entire settings section opens up, giving you incremental access to your Wi-Fi, your Bluetooth, your cellular data, and more. But you don't have to use it from the control panel because you've always got this section of settings that you can access it easily from. Here you can come in and check your current Wi-Fi settings. Little power tip for you, if you want to know the password for the Wi-Fi you're connected to, click the little I to the right here, and then put your finger down on the password section where you will reveal the password and can copy and paste it anywhere you like. Clicking your back arrow, you'll also see your Bluetooth settings. Coming into Bluetooth, any devices that you've ever connected to Bluetooth on this phone are going to show up here. For many people, that may include old rental cars, or speakers you're no longer using, or selfie sticks that have long ago been forgotten. It's a good habit to come through here and clear out any Bluetooth devices that you aren't regularly using. And you can do that easily by clicking on the little I to the right and choosing where it says Forget this device. Underneath Bluetooth, you've got cellular settings and your personal hotspot. The personal hotspot is a really valuable tool that turns your phone into a Wi-Fi hotspot that you can use to get other devices like a laptop onto the internet. Many people travel and either use public Wi-Fi in airports or hotels or pay extra for private Wi-Fi in those same locations. But if you've got a good cellular connection, you can use your phone instead. And for most people, it's free for you to use the personal hotspot. Check with your carrier to make sure it's not going to cost you an extra fee, but this is a great way to explore having connectivity on your laptop without using a public Wi-Fi. And the last piece of the connectivity and network setting is the battery section right here. For many of us, battery settings are one of the biggest problems we've got on our phone. But the real question is the problem our battery or our settings? By coming down to this section where it shows the last 24 hours or the last 10 days, you can see which applications have used the majority of your battery during that period of time. By looking in the 24 hours section, you can see that in my case, this 4 Chords app used 50% of my battery. That is a lot. Followed by the Settings app, which really shouldn't have used that much. Keep your eye open for things that say background activity like mail and messages. We'll talk about background activity in just a moment. Coming back up and changing from the 24-hour settings to the last 10 days settings will give you a better idea of whether that application is a real problem or it was just a problem during that one day. Here we'll see that over the last 10 days, the same app, 4 Chords, is still using a large percentage of my battery. That lets me know that's an app that may have a memory leak or that I may need to be more cautious about closing out when I'm completed with it. If we come a little bit higher up, we're going to see this section that says Battery Health. And clicking on the Battery Health section gives you a ton of important information. It can tell you whether your battery is healthy or needs to be replaced. If your battery needs to be replaced, it's a good idea to do that as soon as possible because once a battery becomes degraded, it gets worse and worse, holding less of a charge and overheating your phone more as it tries to maintain its connection. Underneath that, you'll see the maximum capacity. When you first purchase your phone, it's 100%. The more you charge and discharge it, the more that maximum capacity will drop. As it gets closer to 80%, it becomes more necessary to charge your phone multiple times during the day. If your phone is starting to head close to 80%, be aware that you should consider either upgrading your phone in the near future or fixing your battery. So that's what we've got for the network and connectivity sections. Next up, let's talk about our personalization and customization settings. The personalization and customization section has so many powerful tools that can allow you to choose what the action button on your phone does. For those who don't know, the action button is the button above the volume keys on the iPhone 15 Pro and later. It can also help you control your camera, making additional settings, or let you choose the wallpaper that you use for your home screen and lock screen. But there's so much to talk about in this section that I'm not really going to cover much of it. I'm going to talk about a couple of important things, but I strongly recommend that you take a little trip through this entire section and make sure you've customized your Siri settings and your control center and your display and brightness and your standby and all of these tools. I'm going to focus specifically on the general section. And I'm going to do that because the general section hides a ton of critical tools. First off, right at the top, we've got this section called About. Clicking on the About section tells you everything you need to know about your phone. How much capacity does it have? How much storage is still available? How many photos and videos and songs are you storing? And most importantly, what's the name of this particular device? As we talked about in the earlier section, if you have a generic name for your phone or your iPad, it becomes really hard to differentiate your phone from your husband or wife's phone or from one of your other devices. It's easy enough to change it by clicking on the name section right here and just type in a new name. Coming down a little bit further, you'll see the model of your phone and even the serial number. If you reach out to Apple for support, you may need this number, so knowing how to get to it quickly can make things easy for you. Let's click our back arrow. Also in the general section, you'll find your software update settings. Many people believe that the phone still updates them automatically. The reality is, Apple doesn't push updates out as often as they used to because they've had too many people complain. So you may need to check on this section to make sure you're running the latest operating system possible. Coming down here, you'll also see information about your iPhone storage. Clicking on here will show you how much storage your phone has. Don't get this confused with your iCloud storage. Remember that iCloud and most cloud services can always be upgraded to add additional space. But unless you get a new phone, your iPhone storage is going to be exactly the amount of storage that it had when you bought this phone. As your phone gets full, it will run slowly and overheat. So it's a good idea to check out this section and follow the recommendations to make sure you're using as little of your iPhone's internal storage as possible for what you need to do. There's a ton of other settings inside of the general section that are really valuable, but I'm just going to talk about one other important piece here, and that's this background app refresh. Remember when we were looking at the battery section and I told you to keep your eye open for things that said background refresh or background activity? This is that section. If you're one of the people that comes into this area of your phone and frequently quits all of the apps that are open, I want you to hear this clearly. Quitting those apps does not actually save you any battery. In fact, in most cases, it will wear your battery down even faster. Things that show up in this section are what are known as background apps. And background apps can connect to the internet if you let them, but you don't have to let them. It's easy enough to come in and make changes here inside the general section under the background app refresh section. The basic idea of background app refresh means that when an application is not in front, can it still connect to the internet and gather information? In some cases, you might need it to. For example, if you're following directions from your GPS app and the phone rings, you may leave the GPS app to answer the phone. The GPS app is now in the background, but you still need to know when to get off of that freeway. So for things like maps, background app refresh is a necessity. But there's so many things on this list that don't need to update in the background. For example, why would I want my Apple Vision Pro to connect in the background when I'm not using it? That doesn't make any sense. And why would Amazon need to connect when I'm not using Amazon? Take a look through this list top to bottom and you will find that the vast majority of these apps do not need to be turned on for background app refresh. And once you've turned off the ones that don't need it, you can stop quitting them from here because they aren't using any battery or internet when they're in this section. They're in full hibernation mode and you can just use your phone as it was intended without quitting every app every single time you open it. And that's what we've got for the customization and personalization section. Next up, let's talk about the notifications and alerts section. Here we've got 4 separate areas to talk about. We've got notifications right up at the top. Notifications control how your phone alerts you, whether it's a beep or a sound, whether it's a banner that pops up on your screen, or whether it takes over your entire screen. All of your choices are right here, and you can go through the notification section to turn on or off apps that you do or don't want to be notified by. For example, if you scroll through here, you're going to see things like Blue Sky. I don't even use Blue Sky. Let's click on that and let's turn off notifications right here. Turning on and off notifications is one of the best ways to manage your battery life because anything that has notification mode turned on will check for any notifications on a regular basis, wearing down your battery even if you're not using the app. So this is a great place to save more battery life. Down below that, we've got the settings that control the sounds and haptics. Haptics are the little buzzes or vibrations that happen on your phone. And here, you can change the alert tones for things like mail, calendar, reminders, your ringtone, and more. This is a great place to make sure that you have the right settings to hear your alerts and hear your notifications. Down below that, we've got focus modes, and focus modes are a great way to control your productivity. Whether you turn on Do Not Disturb and nothing breaks through, or you have a setting so that when you're driving, people who call or text you get a message that you're driving and will call them when you're free. You can also set up a work focus mode that turns on right when you get into the office and allows you to stay focused without being distracted with social media apps and games. By using the focus settings here, you can control your productivity and get more done easily. And that's the notifications and alerts section. In the privacy and security setting, you've got the ability to turn on your Face ID or passcode. I strongly recommend turning on at least Face ID and a passcode. If you don't want to use your face, at least set up a passcode. Leaving your phone without a passcode makes it extremely easy for someone to steal your phone, steal all of your information, and lock you out of the Apple ecosystem. Little power tip for those of you. Coming down here to this section, you'll notice that I have Require Attention for Face ID and Attention Aware features turned off. This is because ever since Face ID was first announced, people who wear sunglasses or regular glasses on a regular basis have found out that their Face ID doesn't always work perfectly. It's really because of these 2 security settings that mean that you have to be physically looking directly at the camera in order for it to unlock your devices. This doesn't seem like a big issue, but when you're wearing glasses or sunglasses, there's reflections involved, and in many cases, the phone can't see your pupils properly and thinks it's not you and forces you to use your passcode instead. So if you do wear glasses or sunglasses and have found it difficult to use Face ID, I recommend turning off these 2 settings. And down below that, we've got stolen device protection, which is a relatively new feature. Let's say you were standing at a bus stop playing on your phone and somebody ran by and just grabbed the phone out of your hand. The phone is unlocked, which means a thief that knows what they're doing can cause all sorts of damage in moments. But with stolen device protection turned on, any major changes on your phone have a 1-hour delay before they can be activated, which means that you can quickly go to Find My on someone else's device and lock or erase this phone long before the thief has a chance to cause any damage. And down below that, we've got a section called Apple Core Services. You can make changes to the Game Center, which is a tool for people who play lots of games on their phone. You can check out your iCloud settings, but I like to do that up above in the Apple ID section. And you can make changes to your Wallet and Apple Pay. You can add cards into Wallet and Apple Pay from right here, or change basic settings. Power tip for you guys, definitely have double-click the side button turned on in this section for quick and easy access to Apple Pay by double-clicking your side button. And that's what we've got for the Apple Core Services section. Now, let's get into the Apps section. We're going to click on the Apps section right here. And when you do, you're going to notice that you've got an alphabetical listing of every single app that's installed on your phone. You can scroll down from one letter to the next, or you can use the letters on the right side to jump to any section quickly and easily. You can even search for any app you're looking for by name. Any one of these things allows you to make changes and see the settings for that application. Coming into any application, you'll see things like, does it have access to Siri? Do I have notifications turned on? Is background app refresh enabled? Can it access cellular data? And more. Up at the top, you're going to see this section called Default Apps. In this section, you can choose which applications you want to use as a default application. So if you don't want to use Apple's Mail, but you'd rather use the Gmail app, you can change that setting right here. If you don't want to use iMessage, you'd rather use WhatsApp or Signal, and you can even change your browser from Safari to Chrome or Firefox or any of the other popular browsers. There's a ton of great settings here that control how your phone operates as a default. The Settings app was really well thought out, putting things into separate categories so that there was an easy section for Apple ID, and an easy section for connectivity and network, an easy section for customization and personalization, and a way to make any changes you need to your alerts and notification, your privacy and security, and your core Apple services, and a collection of all of the apps from all over your phone all in one place inside of the Apps section. They really did a great job cleaning up and simplifying this important application. Now in a moment, I'm going to reveal my power tip, which will make it even easier to get to the setting you're looking for quickly and simply. But before I do, if you already feel smarter, give this video a thumbs up. It goes a long way, and it also helps this video get found by other people who need to see it. And if you've got a question, a comment, something you want to know more about, drop it in the comments section. I love to hear from you guys. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, well, let's fix that. Hit that subscribe button and that notify bell. It's an easy way to make sure you're always up to date on the latest Apple information, and you always know whenever I drop new content. And now, let's jump into the most important setting of all, the power tip. We've learned so much in this video, learning exactly where to go for particular settings all over the phone. But there's a really big problem with the Settings app, and this is something that people keep struggling with. If you don't know where something is inside of the Settings app, you can spend a really long time going into separate menus trying to figure out where that setting is, clicking yourself back and forth, and getting yourself lost and confused because you don't know where to look, which is where this power tip comes in. Don't forget about search. You can search for anything you're looking for right in the Settings section. So coming right here, if you're like, hey, that background app refresh, where would I find that? Oh, it's inside General. When you perform a search, you can go to that setting by clicking on the result just like this. But don't overlook what shows up underneath the results. If you pay attention, you'll start to learn where apps are. So if I come in here and I say, hey, I don't know where CarPlay is, it's going to say CarPlay is a part of General. Oh, that's really, really good to know. I need to know how to change my Mail settings. Oh, Mail is inside of Apps. Or you could jump to iCloud Mail or into Mail accounts. A simple search can dramatically simplify trying to find a setting without losing your mind. So that's an amazingly powerful power tip, but because I love you guys, I got a second power tip for you as well. In addition to being able to use search to get to settings, you can also use Siri. So if I were to say something like, open Wi-Fi settings, it would take me right to that page. Or open Bluetooth settings, or open Personal Hotspot. Now Siri can't open up every single setting, but there's a lot of them that she can open. But in addition to being able to open them, she can also make distinct changes. You can do things like this. Turn on Do Not Disturb. Turn on Low Power Mode. Turn my brightness to 10%. Turn my volume to 100%. Sometimes changing your setting is as simple as asking Siri to do it for you. So that's what we've got for today's video about how to get around the iPhone Settings app. I hope you learned a ton, but remember, there's always more to learn. Check out this video over here for even more amazing tips and tricks on how to use your Apple devices properly. I'm Dylan Stewart, the Mac Whisperer, and I'll see you in the comments.